All right, so to expand on what I was saying yesterday, the drive-through diet isn't good for you. It's there for convenience. It's there to make a corporation money. So therefore, if it has a drive-through, drive by. There's no reason to get coffee. None. Maybe it's a psychological deal where you found comfort. We have to break down those psychological firewalls. Yes, I said firewall. I have to relate it in some sort of way that a person can understand it in today's modern times. We got to break down the firewall, get through it, rewrite the code, and then get back to being a human. Because someone has hijacked you. You have spyware in here. You have malware. Did you know that? Did you know they downloaded shit in your brain? Now you just do it because whatever's been said. So once you break down those psychological firewall barriers, right? And rewrite the programming in your brain, because we all have been programmed from birth. The first 7 years, we absorb the most. That writes the survival code in our brain, how we're supposed to act, how we're supposed to be, how we treat people, blasey, right? So when you finally break through and you get through all the trauma that you had, whatever caused your trauma, I'm sorry for you. I had trauma. I got through it. I did it by myself. I didn't have nobody, because men don't have nobody to go and cry to or do shit. So we handle it like men do. We just handle it and break those walls down, break everything down. No one teaches men. Men got to learn. Many people don't think they're brainwashed. Many people think that we're in a free country. It isn't being repeated constantly. It isn't this and isn't that. Well, maybe it isn't the same kind of psychological downloading from another country, but here we have marketing and advertising. And this is the point I wanted to illustrate. Edward Bernays, he's the father of advertising and marketing. Do you know what he was? Do you know who his uncle was? He was a psychoanalyst. Sorry, I was rudely interrupted by dogs and squirrel time. So Edward Bernays was the father of AKA propaganda, the psychoanalysis, advertising and marketing. Guess who his uncle was? Sigmund Freud. Yes, think about it. Now, if they repeated something enough, that it would be in here imprinted, and they could change the world, change ideology, change how your thought process is, how they can move merchandise all along the lines just from seeing and hearing. Can you imagine that? So, do you want to tell me that there isn't programming written in there in your brain, to your subconscious, to your survival genes? And that gets you to today's wanting to have fun. Wanting to have fun. Gotta have fun. Man, I used to do that, and I used to want to have fun, get my little dopamine rush, have my high, and fucking drop on my face. I'm like, man, why did I do that? Man, that really wasn't that fun. Really? The idea of having fun is better than actually going and doing the project, going and doing it, because there's always a letdown. Yeah, I said it. There's always a letdown. So it's even like drunk eating. Gonna go In-N-Out Burger. And once you start eating it, and you're let down. It's sad. I repeated this cycle a whole bunch in my life, then I come to realization it doesn't work. It's just like having tattoos, right? Tattoos were for people who lived on the other side of the law. And they weren't cool. They had like, okay, now you're branded like a cow. and this is, you're part of this, and yeah, it may be cool to look at, but then all of a sudden it became culture. It became fad. It became trendy in the 90s. Excuse me, in the 2000s too. I mean, everybody had to have color their skin. I gotta have a tat, man, so I can be cool. Everybody can see my tat. I cut down some trees, branches, and one got me. Yeah, I had 2 earrings. You see? I had the cool stuff. Guess where that 1500? If it's got an aggressive marketing advertising campaign, can it be good? There's a company out there right now that's marketing like fucking nuts. AG1. Marketing to everybody. Anybody who's on YouTube, it's got a huge, subscriber list. I'm going to say subscriber list from now. I'm not saying follower. Subscriber list. They're marketing. This today's video is sponsored by AG1. It's in the grill. I go, they can't be good for you because their marketing campaign is spending a whole bunch. It can't be really good. You don't want to see no advertising and marketing for Klamath Lake blue-green algae from Pure Synergy, do you? Nah. So if I go on YouTube, I watch some old blue-collar stuff, right? And how the people are welding and repairing, fixing, engineering, everything. So, like Matt's Off-Road Recovery. Whoa, what the hell? Okay. Matt's Off-Road Recovery, Fab Rats. They take their 4-wheelers, go off-road. They engineer them to handle the terrain, then go and rescue a broken down off-road vehicle. Trailmater, that's an amazing one. You want to watch some amazing nature and a rat rod and a rat wrecker. That's a pretty cool one. There's just engineering behind it all. This all comes out of their brains and experience. Then you'll see AG1. What? Yeah, it happens. So, have a great day. So this man, Edward Bernays, right? He's been controlling you from over 100 years ago. He's controlled every aspect of your life from growing up. Every aspect of your schooling. Every aspect of how you act and your being in public. Your fashion apparel. Your music. This man has controlled everything in your life. He's figured out how to control what you eat. He's figured out how to control what women put on their face, their makeup, all this stuff. The smoking to make you look cool. This man has controlled every aspect of your life, and you never heard of him. Man, I hope this was an eye-opener for you. So as you can see right here, this was in his book, Propaganda. I'll give you a second to read about it. Get you all emotional. Get you all worked up. So as you can see right here, we are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes are formed, our ideas are suggested largely by men we've never heard of. They made you want to eat something through advertising and marketing. You didn't want to eat that. That's not your natural food. He made you want to eat it. Made it look yummy and lusty and happy and fun and exciting and that kind of shit. So as you can see right here, he understands the mechanism to control the mindset. That's when you get the masses together, they get crazy. That's why you have these big, giant gang fights or brawls in the mall or whatnot. They get you together in a party atmosphere and you eat stuff, drink stuff, and make poor-ass decisions. But Did you really know that? Or you think you were just living in the moment? Mass mindset, they can control you. Oh man, gotta have them chips, gotta have that, gotta have them nachos, gotta have this, you don't gotta have it. It's just living in that moment that they've got you controlled. You don't even realize it. So you can see right there, it says Edward Bernays was a pioneer in propaganda, but they had to change it because the Germans were using propaganda and Americans didn't want to use propaganda, so they changed it to public relations. Then you can see right there, it says Sigmund Freud was Bernays' uncle was Sigmund Freud. That public opinion could be shaped. I'll just give you a second to read it. So listen to me ramble. They engineer consent out of fear. Citizens used to fight. Now they rather give up out of fear. Give up their rights. Give up their way of being out of fear. Sound familiar? So this is where ego comes in. This is how you know people reach their real subconscious weakness. The educated man does not believe in propaganda. He shrugs it off, convinced propaganda has no effect on him, aka advertising and marketing. And this is, in fact, one of their greatest weaknesses. Propagandists will be well aware of that in order to reach someone, they must first convince him that propaganda is ineffectual and not very clever, because he is convinced of his own superiority. The ego, the intellectual, is much more vulnerable than anybody else. This maneuver, even though basically high intelligence, broad culture, and consent exercise of the critical faculties and the full objective information are still the best weapons against propaganda. Now, how many of you knew about Edward Bernays? How many people knew that psychology played such a large part in your life, and that these were your free will and your free thoughts and the free way of thinking and being in the free world? Did you not know that you're being manipulated every day? Turn off the radio in the car. How many you play one 3-minute song, right? I'll have 3 to 5 minutes of advertising. Just turn it off. Do an audiobook. Clear your brain. All your anxiety and everything comes through the radio on the way to work. Plus the coffee making you crazy and whatnot. Trust me, I did it. I'm not innocent by any means. I'm relaying the information from experience. So this man, Edward Bernays, right? He's been controlling you from over 100 years ago. He's controlled every aspect of your life from growing up. Every aspect of your schooling. Every aspect of how you act and your being in public. Your fashion apparel. Your music. This man has controlled everything in your life. He's figured out how to control what you eat. He's figured out how to control what women put on their face, their makeup. All this stuff. Just smoking to make you look cool. This man has controlled every aspect of your life, and you never heard of him. Man, I hope this was an eye-opener for you.